Hello everyone, back to you in today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 will take us to the 18th of December, and 2 weeks will take us more or less to Christmas. And I should get on that for you very shortly. There are signs still that things might be getting colder for Christmas, with ongoing hints of a Scandinavian high perhaps, and easterly winds towards the Christmas period. So more about that in a moment, but just say that the first video released today was the ECMWF 30-day look ahead, and yeah, so that's looking at weather next 4 weeks across not just the UK but the rest of Europe as well. Do have a look at the ECMWF 30-day if you would like to do that. We're going to show you weeks 5 and 6 temperature and precipitation, mean sea level pressure data in our live stream tomorrow from 6 o'clock. Right, so just start off with some more pictures then. So I showed the ones that have been sent to me direct at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com and shared on our Discord server and also at the comment box at GavsWeatherVids. But I said I'd show you a few from Twitter, so we'll just scroll down my Twitter feed, the GavsWeatherVids Twitter feed, and we'll have a look at a few of your pictures. So there's one that we have from yesterday. That's from Oliver. Oliver tweeted back to me today in the Peak District. That was yesterday. Pretty wintry looking in the Peak District. There we are. Look at that proper snow cover over there on the high ground of the Peak District. Let's move on down then, see what else we've got. So we have got quite a few, but a lot of them were shared a few days ago. So let's carry on moving down and see if I can find some. Eventually I will come to them. There's another one. Severe weather 2020. Peak District at 500 metres today. GavsWeatherVids. This was shared on the 5th of December. Look at that. Really, really wintry looking afternoon up there on the Peak District. Wow. Most whiteout conditions up there on the high ground of the Peak District. These from Tornado Titan, I think that is. Tornado Titan. Snow managed to settle for a while in Witham today. There was some snow in Witham. Look at that, snow cover, snow falling in Witham. Thank you so much to Tornado Titan for tweeting those to us. This from Lee. Lee showing snow at Diggle in Saddleworth. Looking absolutely stunning this afternoon. Again, we see more very, very snowy looking landscapes up there in Saddleworth. That's on the high ground too. It really has been on the high ground, hasn't it? This one from Chris Clifford. Hey there at GavsWeatherVids. Just thought I'd share these pics with you, as I know you're a snow fan. So I think Chris is in East Anglia, probably near Norwich, something like that, or North Norfolk anyway. So snowing there on the 4th of December. Snowing where Chris is on the 4th of December. There we see it. Yeah, snow falling in Norfolk on the 4th of December. Thank you so much to Chris Clifford for sharing those with us. And just see if I can find any more. This is from Blue YouTube. We have snow, low level northwest. Says it's 3 degrees. Wow, was expecting nothing but rain again. So Blue got a little bit of snow as well. I think Blue is up towards the Manchester area. So it was snowing there too. This one from Bradley Nichols. Still snowing at 11:28 a.m. at Princetown, Dartmoor. Wow, look very, very snowy on Dartmoor. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's pretty much. There's another one. Guy Ward. Again, from Saddleworth. Saddleworth this morning. Looking very, very wintry up there on Saddleworth Moor. Doug E. Brown shared these from, but was shared by a BBC Scotland weather. So, of course, Scotland got it worse than anywhere I think, through the early part of last week. So just have a very quick look at those, and I'll have to crack on video. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your weather pictures with us, wherever you do them. And thank you so much to all of you for sharing your pictures. There's another one from Garden Snowmaking. Looking very, very snowy there from Garden Snowmaking. A lot of places have had more snow in the first week of December than they did at any point through last winter, so we are already doing pretty well for snow. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your snow pictures. If you'd like to have your picture featured in the videos, I'm sorry if I've had to miss anybody out. You know, we are always against the clock. We're always running against old father time. So, yeah, we always have to be wary of time constraints and whatnot. But we do share as many as we can. So if you would like to have your weather pictures featured in videos, all you need to do is email them to us at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com. You can share them to the comment box at GavsWeatherVids.com or on the GavsWeatherVids Discord server, by the way. And you can also share them with us on our Twitter and Facebook pages. When we get a bit of time, we are more than happy to feature your weather pictures in the videos. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so let's start then. And we're going to begin with the Arctic Oscillation Observed and Forecast. Look at this, looking very, very interesting. Very interesting. What a contrast to last year as well. More about that in a second. But the black line shows where we've been with the AO. The red line's at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to go. Remember, the AO is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. It's not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So when the AO is positive, you're going to have low pressure over the pole. You'll have a polar vortex, essentially, and that tends to keep the cold air bottled in the pole itself. And we tend to go westerly and have mild west winds come across the Atlantic into northern Europe. That's when the AO is positive. But when the AO is negative, you'll tend to have blocking, to have high pressure over the pole. And high pressure blocking is a route to push cold air out of the pole and down into the mid-latitudes. Now, at the moment, the Arctic Oscillation is negative. There it is. Black line is just there. The GFS ensembles are forecasting that the AO is likely to go even more negative as we move through the next couple of weeks, as we move up towards Christmas. The AO is going even more negative. Now, the contrast is with what happened last winter. There's the 1st of December, just there. Up to the 1st of December, generally the AO was trending positive, although late November it did come down towards neutral. But overall, through to the 1st of December, the AO is in positive territory. Since the 1st of December, the Arctic Oscillation has generally been negative. Now, last year, on the first day of December, the AO, which had been negative through most of the autumn of 2019, went positive on the first day of December, and it didn't go negative again until the winter had finished. The whole of last winter was pretty much positive with the Arctic Oscillation. So what a contrast this is with last year. Last year, on the 1st of December, first day of Beach winter, we hit the accelerator on the positive AO. This year, we seem to have hit the brake on the first day of December on the AO. We seem to have gone negative. If the GFS ensembles or anything to go by, the Arctic Oscillation is set to stay negative up to and probably beyond the middle of December. This is a signal for blocking and potentially for colder weather as well. NAO observed and forecasted doing something very similar. So again, the black line shows where we've been with the North Atlantic Oscillation. Red line's at the end where GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. Remember, again, just as with the AO is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. Doesn't drive anything in its own terms, it just tells you what the atmosphere is doing. It's always the weather that's driving the index, not the other way around. At the moment, the NAO is like neutral to weakly negative. GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO is going to stay neutral to weakly negative up to the middle of December and possibly beyond. This is a signal for blocking, and it is potentially a signal for cold weather at times as well, with both of these indexes on the negative side. Things also looking quite interesting in terms of what's happening in the stratosphere over the North Pole. So we talked about this at length in yesterday's video, but I'll just bring you up to date with the latest forecast of the GFS operational and parallel runs for the second half of December. So we've got these blue and purple colours. These are the cold temperatures at 10 HPA over the North Pole. If you want blocking, we do pretty well for blocking anyway, as we see from our indexes. So sometimes you don't need a sudden if you want blocking, you usually want a sudden stratospheric warming to send warmth down into the troposphere and to set up a blocking area of high pressure. But you don't always need that, and that's sort of the situation we're in right now, actually. But we have got blocking with a cold stratospheric temperature. So at the moment, we've actually got a disconnect between the troposphere and the stratosphere to some degree. Anyway, this is the latest forecast as of 16th of December. So these blue and purple colours, we've got these cold temperatures at 10 HPA over the North Pole in the stratosphere. That would normally, as I say, be associated with like a strong polar vortex. But this year we have got a bit of a disconnect between the stratosphere and the troposphere. Anyway, we move up towards Christmas and we see increasing signs of warming taking place in the stratosphere at 10 HPA over Siberia. And that is beginning to stretch these blue colours. These blue colours are stretching on our side of the Arctic. So the polar vortex had its roots in the stratosphere. Even if it's weakened already in the troposphere, at its roots in the stratosphere, the polar vortex is being put under pressure, it is being put under stress, and is being stretched like an elastic band being stretched by this warming that's taking place here over Siberia. So that is quite a significant minor stratospheric warming, and that takes us up to Christmas Eve. Not a sudden stratospheric warming at this point, but we have got a little bit more warming that's taking place here. Like through the Atlantic into southern Europe, and again the main warming is over Siberia, and these two warmings on either side are stretching this polar vortex. It is being put under a lot of pressure. May eventually, by the time we get into January, that might eventually lead to a proper major southern stratospheric warming, and maybe even like a split of the polar vortex. That's a little bit speculative, but it could do. This is the parallel GFS run. So let's just have a quick look about it again. Starting off on the 16th of December, there's the blue and purple colours, which are the cold temperatures at 10 HPA. Look at this, it's going for a warming as well. A more dramatic warming though, a bigger warming being forecast here by the parallel GFS run just for Christmas. It's 20th of December. We're up to the red colours there. That is a very, very significant, that is a sudden stratospheric warming that's taking place over Siberia at that point, and as far as we get to is to Christmas Eve, when again we see that the polar vortex is at its roots in the stratosphere with these blue and purple colours being displaced and stretched as well by this warming that's coming in from Siberia. It's all very, very early days. It's normally southern stratospheric warmings occur through mid and late winter, particularly late winter actually. So to get these in December is quite, it does happen, but it's quite unusual. I think we actually had one last winter. I'm not sure if we did, or was it the winter before. But anyway, it's early days for this to be happening. So yes, it could well be that we are going to see some very dramatic developments through this winter in terms of the stratosphere. These Arizona winds are currently looking from weatheriscool.com. So, of course, if the temperature gets cold in the stratosphere at 10 HPA, so the zona wind gets stronger. The zona wind is kind of like the engine, but it's powering the polar vortex. So the black line shows that at this time of the year, that's our trend line, at this time of the year, polar vortex should be getting stronger. This red dashed line is last year, where we had the polar vortex of doom. Of course, the blue line just there is the current strength of the zona wind at 10 HPA, so it is currently stronger than average. And the green lines, which are the GFS ensembles, show that the zona wind is going to weaken over the next couple of weeks overall, but probably still a little bit on the stronger side, only average anyway. But let's put, and that gets us to like Christmas Eve. So our dates are on the bottom here, of course. So this is December just here, and that's as far as the GFS ensembles are going. That's going to get us to Christmas Eve. Right, let's fill in the CFS then. That's these blue lines. All the CFS runs today are going for a reversal of zona winds at 10 HPA through the first half of January. A reversal of zona winds is being forecast. in the first half of January. That almost certainly will be following a sudden stratospheric warming. So the CFS is picking up on a very significant, a major sudden stratospheric warming, producing a reversal of zonal winds through early January. The CFS can go over the top, though, with reversing zonal winds. So if we take those blue lines out and put in the bias corrected that they are now doing at weatheriscool.com, even then we can see that, even with the bias corrected, we can see that generally the CFS is still forecasting either a dramatic weakening of zonal winds through January and or a reversal. And that's even with the bias corrected. So it looks like there are some very significant developments to come over the next, 2, 3, 4 weeks in terms of the stratosphere over North Pole. Very, very significant developments could be on the way, and that might set up, some very extensive northern blocking. Although, as I said, we are doing very, very well for blocking at the moment, even with a cold temperature at 10 HV, because we have got a disconnect right now, and it's likely to continue if the AO and NAO forecasts are correct. It is likely to continue this disconnect between the stratosphere and the troposphere through the next week or two. These are GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for London. Upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average. We're colder than average at the moment. We're going to see the temperature lifting up to near normal by the end of this week, going a little bit milder than average actually over weekend into the early part of next week. But then we have got a cooling trend. These are dates on the bottom of the chart. This gets up to Christmas Eve, and we have got a little bit of a cooling trend appearing here. You can see how this white line is just slipping eventually, that's the ensemble mean, eventually slipping under the red line, which is like the trend line of a 30-year average. So definitely there's a cooling trend as we move towards the Christmas period. Some very cold ensemble members as well. These ones down here are outliers, cold outliers, but there's a few of them there, but sort of dropping us into the freezer. Does include, again, the operational run, by the way. That's this thick green line just here. That is dropping towards the freezer, really, as we're running up towards Christmas. So we saw a very cold GFS operational run yesterday, but I showed you in yesterday's video, and that video currently has over 6,000 views. So I think we can say yesterday's 10 to 14 data did well. I showed you that, and again, we're seeing the same thing with the GFS 6Z operational run, where I will be showing you in a moment. Should we have a look at the extended? We haven't looked at these for a little while. The extended GFS ensembles are looking like this. So these are always, there's so many of them. There's like 30 ensemble members. So there's so much spaghetti, but it is very, very difficult to make it out. But obviously you can see like the relatively mild, so we're starting off quite cold just here. You can see the relatively mild weather we've got coming up at the end of this week and into the weekend, around the middle part of December. It is going mild, but you can see that doesn't last all that long. It only lasts a few days. There is clearly a cooling trend here, despite all of the scatter and all of the spaghetti and cold outliers and warm outliers. Despite all of that, there is clearly a cooling trend that's in evidence as we're running up towards Christmas. So Christmas to New Year, we see some very, very cold ensemble members. These down here, again, they're almost merging with the precipitation spikes, which makes it a little bit difficult to make out. But from like Christmas week, which is this period just here, Christmas Day to New Year, there are some very, very cold ensemble members appearing in Maine. Some of them are going down to like -10 to -15 at 850 HPA. Equally, there are like minor ensemble members up here as well. But I think on balance, it does look as though things could well be starting to get colder. The trend could well be down with the upper air temperatures as we're moving from the middle of December up towards the Christmas period. I think definitely that could be something that's going on there. However, temporarily, it is going to get mild around the middle part of December. So temperature anomalies from the 8th to 16th of December are actually going to be a little bit above average. The precipitation anomaly is going to be average to a little bit wetter than average as well. Here's the latest wind flow map from urbanoilschool.net showing that we've got low pressure across Scotland today, and we're still within a relatively cold air mass. You'll notice that our mild winds, our southwesterly winds that normally bring us our rain, bearing weather systems, and also our mild mild temperatures in the winter are being kept well at bay out in the North Atlantic. Eventually, these milder winds will break through. In the next couple of days, we will start to see westerlies coming back, but at the moment, it's still pretty cold. By Friday, though, we are pushing the Atlantic back in, so this is how the UK Met is looking for Friday. Low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, bringing cloud and outbreaks of rain in from the west. Going through to the weekend, we're looking unsettled. It is a little bit milder over the weekend, but it's still not a traditional sort of zonal westerly spell, this. We still have high pressure to our north and northeast. It's got above average heights, got high pressure to our northeast, so the low pressure continues, and the jet stream continues to be displaced south of its normal sort of winter position. That's how we look at 144 hours, which is Monday, 14th of December. Again, looking wet and windy, really, with low pressure out to our west. Winds are coming in from a south-southwesterly direction, so it is mild up to that point, but still with the high pressure lurking to the north and the northeast. As far as we go with UK Met, this is how the GFS is looking. Again, on Friday, low pressure breaking through, bringing outbreaks of rain and also milder temperatures as well. We go through into the weekend and we continue to be unsettled. Again, low pressure is rattling in from the Atlantic, winds are in from the southwest, so it will be milder, and we'll have some outbreaks of rain to contend with as well, though. Moving into the middle part of December, again, low pressure continues to be ploughing in from off the Atlantic. But notice this low pressure is slipping southwards with time. So we're moving up towards day 10 now, and the low pressure is slipping south. Heights are rising to the north, and here we go. We're up to, or just beyond day 10, and we've got a proper blocking area of high pressure appearing again on another GFS operational run over Scandinavia and also stretching through the Norwegian Sea to Iceland and Greenland. Winds are turning into the east. That's started to pull in cold air from like the Baltic area of Europe and sort of northwestern Russia. That is all starting to get pushed our way on those easterly winds around or just beyond day 10. And so we start to go much, much colder then as we run up towards Christmas. This is the 20th of December. We're pushing the -5 celsius iceberg through the country. Got a puddle of -10 and 850 HPA upper air temperatures across Scandinavia. They'll be coming our way as well on those easterly winds. Looking cold and potentially wintry on the 21st of December, and then it stays cold right up to Christmas Eve with this GFS run. That's as far as we get to with the GFS run. Up to Christmas Eve, staying cold. We've got low pressure out to our southwest. We're within a cold air mass across much of northern and western Europe, and could this area of low pressure provide the moisture to start producing snow? The air would certainly be cold enough for snow. And so what a chart that is for Christmas Eve, perhaps hinting at the chance of snow from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. Can you believe it on the GFS zigzag? We have seen that it is probably, well, it is certainly like an outlier. Let's just go back to the normal ensemble. You can see that it is an outlier, but not without support. That's it just there, the green line just there. So there are ensembles that are going even colder than that, actually. So maybe it's not an outlier, but it is like at the coldest end of the range, I suppose, in the GFS ensembles. But anyway, what a chart that is, hinting maybe at snow, certainly for more southern and southwest parts of the country on Christmas Eve. Wow. This how the GM is looking. Again, low pressure is coming in off the Atlantic, bringing lots of cloud, wind and rain through weekend into next week. Also milder temperatures as well, though. Winds in from the southwest. Moving up towards day 10, though, the GM is starting to raise the heights to our east, beginning to block the progress of these areas of low pressure to our west. Could that evolve towards a Scandinavian high? It might do. You know, you certainly wouldn't rule it out that that might be the beginnings of an evolution to a Scandinavian high with the GM at day 10. And then the ECMWF looks like this. So again, very unsettled with low pressure rattling through, bring further bouts of rain in from off the Atlantic. If you're enjoying this video, by the way, please can you like the video, let us know in the comments what you think about this video. Make sure you're sub to our channel. That's how the ECM looks as we get to day 10. Wet and windy, really, and not much sign of a Scandinavian high up to that point. So out of the three, the ECM is the one that is struggling to raise the heights as much to the north and northeast. The GFS, obviously, 6Z is going to town with the Scandinavian high and the GM is probably somewhere in between those two. This is the rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. So, could be a little bit of rain, sleet and snow coming southwards tonight, actually, through like northern England down into Midlands. I think snow is primarily like over the highest ground, but there's a little bit of rain and also sleet, maybe wet snow that's coming southwards through the Midlands into East Anglia. Possibly some of that gets towards the southeast, actually, later on in the night. That all clears out of the way. Then we push weather systems in off the Atlantic, turns increasingly unsettled with bouts of rain moving in. It's also turning milder as well as these areas of low pressure come in. And next week does look pretty wet, actually, with several bouts of rain to contend with. Something that could still turn to snow across Scotland, but generally next week is a rather milder week and also quite a lot wetter as well. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. So this gets us to the 18th of December. We have 19 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our east. Low pressure is to the west. And that's going to be bringing in wet weather from off the Atlantic Ocean. 15 with blocking or some degree of blocking to the north. Anyway, this includes the control and the operational run. But low pressure sort of over to the west country, keeping us mild, but also wet. 9 with high pressure blocking to the north, combining with high pressure to the east. That's turning us dry and probably cold and frosty. And then 8 with a genuine bona fide Scandinavian high and bringing in the winds from the east. That would be like what the GFS 6 said is showing, with a Scandi and an easterly wind. In 2 weeks' time, just before Christmas, the eve of Christmas Eve actually, this is how we look. So by then, we've got sort of high pressure blocking to our north. The low pressure has slipped southwards, and so you would think that's probably trending in a colder direction up towards Christmas. It doesn't show like a classic Scandinavian high, but we have got a lot of blocking there to the north. The low pressure's gone, so I'll just talk you through how that happens. So again, that's how the options are looking at day 10. Notice that as we go beyond day 10, up to 2 weeks, that trough of low pressure just sort of fades away within the ECM ensembles. And I think that's probably the blocking taking over within the northern latitudes, really. So I think the ECM ensembles are probably trending colder moving up towards Christmas. And then finally, CFSV2, these are 500 millibar heights breakdown to week periods. The first week period will take us from the 8th to the 14th of December. The coming week has a trough of low pressure over the country combined with non-blocking. It's going to be colder and going to be cold to start off with. I think it's going to start getting a little bit milder. Week 2 is going to be the 15th to the 21st of December. This could be a milder week with high pressure building to our east, low pressure being blocked out to the west. Winds are probably going into more of a southerly direction. But of course, if you just tilt that southerly southeasterly, then it will start to go colder as we bring in continental air. Week 3 is going to be the 22nd to 28th of December. Christmas week has a Scandinavian high. Low pressure is out to our southwest, so that's very interesting. We could either be bringing in like a cold easterly wind, or we could be trying to move this low pressure into a cold easterly wind. So you know, all sorts of things are possible there around the Christmas period. That could be quite exciting, I have to say. And then week 4 is the 29th of December to the 4th of January, with again high pressure seen to our east, low pressure to our west, probably back to more of a southerly to southeasterly. If we looked at the temperature anomalies, I'm sure the CFS would be saying mild throughout this whole period, but I think that could be quite cold, really, especially like in weeks 3 and 4. I think it probably does go milder for week 2, but I think weeks 3 and 4, Christmas to New Year, could be quite cold. Right, if you enjoyed this video, please can you click like, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids as well. And let us know in the comments when you've finished watching this video, which you will do in a second, what you think, as long as the comments are nice, of course. No, you don't have to do that, but let us know in the comments what you think. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. We are on our way to 8,600 subscribers now. Stuff's moving so quickly at the moment. It's incredibly, it's absolutely amazing how quickly things are moving on the channel. So I think we're going to get to 9K before too much longer, hopefully. We shall see. Right, that's it for your videos for today then. Another long one, a lot to talk about though, of course. That's it for your videos for today. Tomorrow, we're going to have a USA forecast and we'll be live streaming our 10 to 14 days. So everything that you've seen in this video, you'll see again tomorrow, but it'll be part of our live stream and that will be from 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. I think it'll be very, very exciting live stream indeed. For this one, that's all for now and thanks for watching.